It is no secret that I love the Nintendo Switch, and I love the Nintendo Switch eShop, and I love telling you about great games on the Nintendo Switch eShop. Today we have 5 fantastic titles that I've not told you about before, including the very rare sports game on the Switch. And hey, are you in the Columbus, Ohio area? Because this weekend is CorgsCon. Myself, John Riggs, a bunch of other fellow YouTubers are going to be there. Please stop by. I would love to say hello. So what do you say? Let's head over to the Switch. I have played a lot of beat-em-ups on this channel, and few of them are as enjoyable or as full-featured as the Takeover. This is an absolutely spectacular single-player or multiplayer game on one console, and it does so much so well. The graphics in the game are gorgeous, and the music in the game is fantastic, featuring music from Little V. Mills, Richie Branson, James Ronald, and Yuzo Koshiro. The storyline is like straight out of a 1980s action movie. It's really just a love letter to classic 90s beat-em-ups, while still putting in modern aesthetic and adding some of its own design elements as well, which I really appreciate. Things like the rage meter, where you're able to click the 2 sticks together and actually get an advantage where you're going to be moving faster than the enemies. The special meter that you're able to fill up. The ability to pull a firearm and use it in combat. There's so much that this game does that is unique and just makes it stand apart from other beat-em-ups. You are playing as one of 3 characters. There is a 4th unlockable character further on in the game. I have not unlocked them yet, but as you play, you are going to continue to proceed through the level, trekking your way through the city, taking out the gangs, and just fighting wave after wave of endless enemies in an absolutely spectacular version of a beat-em-up. This is the exact type of game I like to play. This is the type of game that I want to look for when I'm looking for fantastic eShop games, and this one does not disappoint in any stretch of the imagination. This is one that has been suggested to me numerous times. I have had people tell me to look out for this one. It's been on my wish list for a while, and I finally saw it go on sale, and I had to pull the trigger on it because the game is just that good. If you enjoy beat-em-ups, if you like games like Final Fight, like Streets of Rage, like the Ninja Turtles arcade game, like The Simpsons, this is the kind of game you want to pick up. The Takeover is $19.99, and it is a wonderful investment, a fantastic pickup for your Nintendo Switch. So what do you get when you cross Mega Man, Metal Slug, and Untitled Goose Game? You get Mighty Goose, one of the most enjoyable titles that I have played on the Switch in ages. This is a fantastic run and gun where you play as a goose with, like, you know, cybernetic limbs where he's able to shoot bullets from them, and he's able to pick up shotguns and machine guns, and he can pilot tanks. And look, this game is so over the top and so ridiculous, and frankly just does not take itself too seriously, and that's one of the things I love about it. Like, you are on the hunt for the Void King. He is the ultimate bad guy. He is the big bad of the entire game, and he commands a huge army of mechanized bad guys. You're going to deal with them, and that means going to distant worlds, finding all kinds of danger, but, of course, you are the Mighty Goose. It's a fast-paced run-and-gun game. This is the type of game I used to love on the NES and the SNES, and it's just really a wonderful experience. They thought of everything, like having the roll mechanism in there to dodge attacks, being able to fire down and slow your descent while still making an attack on the enemies below you, having sidekicks that toss out items to help you out, or are, you know, just a regular duck that just wants to help out. It's truly a wonderful game. Big, huge boss battles at the end of every stage, fantastic unlockables, different things you're able to do to customize Mighty Goose to play the way you want him to play. It's really a wonderful title. Mighty Goose is a $19.99 game. I do want to thank the publisher for the review code on Mighty Goose. I was not told to say anything for this. These thoughts are my own, and it is something that I have truly enjoyed and was planning to pick up anyway. So, a fantastic game. If you like run and guns, if you love games like Mega Man or Metal Slug, Mighty Goose is the one for you. It is very rare that I get to suggest a sports game on anything involving the Nintendo Switch. So when something like Bush Hockey League comes along, an M-rated throwback hockey game, I am going to take notice. And I want to thank V7 Entertainment for the review code for this one, because you guys know how much I love the sport of ice hockey, and when I saw this one come up, I immediately put in a request for it, because I was just like, look, I cannot wait to play this. This looks like such a throwback to classic hockey. Like, I grew up a Boston Bruins fan, so people like Derek Sanderson, Terry O'Reilly, these are players that I idolized. These are the guys that were the rough and tumble, the roughneck guys that took no prisoners, and that is what Bush Hockey League is all about. The game is fantastic with wonderful mechanics, great teams that are made up, like the Long Island Rum Runners. Come on, how can you not love that? And the gameplay itself is really solid. It feels a lot like the Electronic Arts hockey games. The control scheme is very similar to those, but it doesn't lean heavily into like modern hockey aesthetic. So you're going to be having things where your characters are going to be taking a lot wider arcing turns, much like they would have done back in the 70s when they had different types of skates than what we see today. Goalies are almost immediately playing the puck out. They're not butterfly goalies. They're stand-up goalies, so they're blocking things quickly with their legs. They're stacking pads when they're trying to make saves. It's a love letter to classic 60s and 70s hockey, and it is ultra-violent. There is so much to like about this game. The gameplay itself is spectacular. The story mode is a lot of fun. It's really just a wonderful game. And it's not a terribly expensive title. Bush Hockey League is $15.99, and it is worth every penny. I truly adore this game. How can you not love a game that has bench-clearing brawls? There's no shortage of excellent hack-and-slash platformers on the Nintendo Switch, and Sword and Sandals Spartacus is one of the highest quality ones as far as I'm concerned. You play as Spartacus, man. Like, how cool is that? One of the most legendary heroes of all time. You get to play as him, and you're going to go through all these different environments throughout ancient Rome, freeing captured gladiators, fighting Roman soldiers, and just setting off on a quest to right the wrongs that have been done to you. It's a really straightforward, fast-paced, fun game. The combat in the game is really intuitive with just basic jumping and slashing, but you're also able to do things like block with a shield, throw a javelin. The levels are massive with tons of enemies to fight, hidden areas to discover, and all kinds of treasure as you play through the story of Spartacus. This is a beautiful pixel art game that really leans heavily into what its presentation style is. The game is very simple and straightforward. There's no backtracking or anything like that. It is just one level, point A to point B, find the secrets, free the slaves, and make your way through the Roman enemies that are standing in your way. It's an absolutely fantastic game. You can even turn on permadeath to make it even more challenging, but trust me, you're not going to want to do that because the game is super difficult. Sword and Sandals Spartacus is currently on sale for $2.59. Its normal price is $12.99, and if you dig hack and slash games, this one's for you. When Call of Juarez Gunslinger went on sale a few months ago, I picked it up. It was on sale for like $3, and I expected nothing from it. So much so that I just kind of let it sit on my hard drive for a while, and I didn't really pick it up or play it. I did start playing it over Christmas break, and I was honestly blown away by both the visual quality and the gameplay itself. Like, this is a fast-paced, action-packed first-person shooter on the Nintendo Switch that takes advantage of the Switch's hardware, things like motion controls, things like the HD Rumble, and truly makes this an experience that can only be had on the Nintendo Switch. I really like the presentation of this game where your character is going into a saloon and telling his story. It's neat because the characters he's talking to as he's narrating the fights that you're going to go through as you play are trying to input what they believe happened from novels that they read or from stories that they've heard, and he's telling the truth of what actually happened. Like, there's this really neat thing at the end of the first stage where a character says that he got into a duel with Pat Garrett and he killed him. And he says, I never said that happened, and he rewinds back and tells you exactly what happened. And I just think that's really clever. There's a few different game modes in this one. The game itself is incredibly violent, incredibly fast-paced. There's awesome gameplay mechanics in here where you're actually like going through and you're able to go into a slowdown mode where you're able to just pick off enemies as you're playing. It's a fantastic game. It looks so good. Like, I have a hard time believing that this is a Nintendo Switch game sometimes looking at it, because of the way it looks, plays, and is presented. Call of Juarez Gunslinger is a magnificent title. It is currently on sale for $7.99, and that is a steal. But its normal price is $19.99, and you should absolutely pick this up if you like the Wild West, if you like first-person shooters, and you like games that actually take advantage of the things that the Switch is able to do that other consoles can't do. This one's for you. So there you have it, Squares, the fantastic 5 games that I wanted to tell you about this month for the Nintendo Switch eShop. Each of these can be had for under $25. I am always looking to save you guys a little bit of money and give you some great game options that I think you guys might dig. In this month in particular, there are just some awesome titles on here. Bush Hockey League is something that is just tailor-made for me. This is a throwback to classic 60s and 70s hockey. It's a sports game on the Switch, like something I am dying to have more of. And I just truly love it. Like, if you dig old-time hockey, if you like the classic 90s NHL games from EA, you gotta check this one out. Call of Juarez Gunslinger is a ridiculously gorgeous first-person shooter with some fantastic game modes in it, with a beautiful Wild West aesthetic, and some really clever storytelling mechanics in play here as well. Mighty Goose is ridiculously over the top and so much fun, a loving throwback love letter to games like Mega Man and Metal Slug. Sword and Sandals Spartacus is a fast-paced action hack and slash, and the Takeover is a magnificent over-the-top beat 'em up. It's something that you guys absolutely have to check out. Fantastic games across the board this month. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite game is that I suggested this month. And hey, if there are any fantastic eShop games that you know of that I have not covered in the past, please let me know in the comments. I'm always looking for new games to check out. The Takeover is a perfect example of that. I probably wouldn't have checked that one out without the suggestions of viewers like you. Please hit like, please subscribe down below if you're new around here. And hey, if you dig the work I do, consider becoming a monthly Patreon sponsor or channel member like the folks you're seeing on screen right now. Channel members and patrons get ad-free early access for a donation of as little as $1 a month, as well as behind-the-scenes videos, exclusive updates, and the ability to answer polls about the direction the channel is going to be going. Until next time, folks, I've been Jay. Appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me. Remember to play more games, stay square, and take care. I'll talk to you soon.